It's time for the man who taught Vince Carter how to slam.
You can't make this tough up.
The man whose three inspired the Curry family.
Pulls it up for three.
I don't exaggerate, I congratulate.
With another masterpiece.
It's time for You Know Who, my man Sekou.
Goes airborne.
It's Sekou Smith's Hang Time Podcast. Take it away.
Welcome into the latest edition of the Hang Time Podcast. Your host, Sekou Smith, here in Atlanta. Got a fantastic show lined up for you today. I don't know if we should call this maybe the Eastern Conference Power Hour. We got Udonis Haslem, the Miami Heat forward, veteran, leader. Spent some time with him. You have to bear with me a little bit on the background noise. On the Haslem interview, we talked to him in a room at the arena down in Miami, outside of the room where all the players get interviewed at. There was a lot of background noise, people coming in and out. We spent a good chunk of time, though, in a corner in that room talking, digging in on a lot of topics around the Miami Heat, his long career there, and the leadership he's shown for what is the surprise team in the league. We also spent some time talking to James Ennis of the Philadelphia 76ers. The fact that those two teams squared off Wednesday night just so happens to be a good coincidence for you, for all of you, and for us as well. But we talked to James about this Sixers team, trying to figure out what the DNA is on this bunch that was heralded by a lot of people to be the favorites in the Eastern Conference. So check out interviews with both Udonis Haslem of the Miami Heat and James Ennis of the Philadelphia 76ers.
How long you've been in the league, man, and to be associated with one team, one city like that. I can't think of another player who's that closely associated with his hometown.
Yeah, man, it's definitely, it's definitely a blessing. It's a gift and it's a curse. It's a lot of responsibility that come with being home, every day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not just coming home for the summer, being home every single day. Right. I've lost friends, that I never thought I'd lose. And I've made friends that I never thought I'd made, and I've been in circles that I never thought I'd be in. It's all been a part of my growth and my maturation, on and off the basketball court. But, make no mistake about it, I'm still 10 toes down and affiliated with the other side, you know what I mean? And I keep my respect on that level, you know what I mean? And I move in a way where I don't separate myself from anybody, you know what I'm saying? I'm always, I'm always there. Yeah. I'm always in the middle of the action, the good and the bad. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing. That's just to say that, you know what I'm saying? I still engage with my people, man. Yeah. I still engage with my people on every level. You know what I'm saying? I don't separate myself.
For this community too, I know they've seen winning. Your time, people to win championships, to have ratings, for fans to be able to link up and be attached to that brand the way they have, man. What's that been like to see that, to be out in this community after you winning championships and doing that?
I mean, one thing I know about people from Miami is we got a lot of pride. We got a lot of pride. We love to tell you we from Miami. We love to talk about where we from and, everything that goes on, in this amazing and this beautiful city. So, that just adds to it. You know what I'm saying? The pride of saying we're the best in something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not too many people, they can say they're the best in something. They can say, we play this, we got here. But to say you're the best in the entire world at one thing, not too many can say that. So to give the city the opportunity to say we have the best basketball team in the world right now, it's a major accomplishment for us, one, for the organization, two, and obviously for the city as well. Just to add to the Miami bravado and the Miami swag and everything that comes with being in Miami.
For you to be in this league this long, you've seen players come and go for very, talented players, various reasons why guys last and don't last.
Yeah.
What's been the key to your longevity? How have you maintained all these years?
Evolution, man. Evolution. You got to evolve. You got to evolve or you won't be around. Evolve or die. Is a quote that, Coach Spo gave me a long time ago. You know what I mean? And, at that time I wasn't trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But evolution doesn't always mean on the basketball court. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes evolution means off the court as a leader, as a professional, as a father, as a parent, all those different things. So I had to evolve in a lot of different ways, man. For me, I just had my head down and I just was looking to, for me, I always carried a chip on my shoulder. So, for me, I was always looking for the next challenge, the next underdog opportunity to overcome it and things like that, to continue to just, push myself, But for me, I've accomplished so much, so now I had to take the focus off pushing myself and pushing other guys, pushing other people, pushing this program, pushing the organization, pushing this culture. That's what I had to focus on.
That you mentioned your word culture. There's always been a feeling with the team, but it's really in the last decade you've been able to see it. You've been able to go from here to here to here to here, back down and back up again. And like now, this current team built it back again with the same infrastructure. When we did for the finals 4 years in a row, we kind of get used to seeing the same people. The guy I'm visiting locker room is the same guy that's been here since Dwayne Wade's rookie year. I mean, I see him and remember. Is it something about the consistency of the culture around here that facilitates all that for this, for Kendrick Young and for Harold to come in here and be able to dive into something, absorb into something that's already established?
I mean, we believe in it. We believe in it. We believe in it wholeheartedly, and we believe that maybe it's not the only way to get it done, but it's our way to get it done. Is having everybody on one accord, having foundation, having rules and guidelines, having guys like myself to implement those rules and guidelines. Because the thing is, it's one thing to be a coach and have a coach give direction and do what coaches do. It's another thing to have someone in the locker room that's a living, breathing example of the culture that you want to transfer to those guys, that you want to embark upon them. So I'm that living, breathing example of this culture, and not only am I a living, breathing example, but I'm living it every day. I'm showing you every day. I'm putting in the work, whether I'm playing or not. And I'm showing you what the results of that culture can bring to you, the sacrificing and everything, what it can bring if you do it the right way. Because everybody wants to hear the word sacrifice until it's time for them to sacrifice. And it's like, oh, me? Really? No, not my turn. Let him do it. But everybody has to do it. Even Bron had to do it to an extent. Even D-Wade, even CB. We all had to sacrifice to be, champions. So it's one thing to preach that, and it's another thing to see somebody that's been about that life.
Did you have conversations with some of these young guys? I don't know if you do this all the time. You're the last person to say something in the huddle before the game started, every game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, what, you have to tell me what you said, but I'm saying, what is the thing that's consistent that you preaching?
We all we got, we all we need. We all we got, we all we need. Nobody better than us. And that's the last thing I say. Before that, it's a lot of other stuff. But I ended with, we all we got, we all we need. Nobody better than us. And I truly believe that the only thing that matters is the people in this organization, overall. But, more importantly, the people in this locker room that come to work every day, put their hard hats on, and, collab for one common goal.
You talked about the sacrifice that the guys had to make, D-Wade, LeBron, everybody. What was that like going from that era when y'all had those 4 straight years of finals and picking up after that, like, for y'all, just internally? Go from that zenith to back to grinding again.
It was tough. It was humbling. You know what I mean? But, for me, I've been to the bottom before, so my survival instincts kick in. You know what I mean? And that's who I am and what I am. When I'm challenged, when I'm at the bottom, the last thing you're going to hear me say is, this is too hard. I'm never going to say it's too hard. The last thing you're going to hear me say is, why not us? Why this, that? No, I'm never going to complain. I'm going to find a way to try to overcome and beat the odds. So, going into those seasons where, obviously we had lost all those guys and just things weren't looking well, I still believe in our group. I still believe in our coaching staff. I still believe that, to push this culture, to get these guys to go to the next level. So I'm always gonna believe in, I look for a challenge. So, with the opportunity coming, and losing all those guys, I saw it as an opportunity to be even more of a leader, embark even more of my voice in this culture on guys, because that's when we needed it the most.
Yeah. Did you look at the opportunities? Guys have a chance to leave and go.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have bounced from here, I'm sure, several times.
Yeah.
Did you weigh that against?
It's always a thought process.
Yeah.
Just because once you walk away from this game, you don't get these years back. Yeah. So everybody knows that. My last few years have been more from a mentoring part. You know what I'm saying? And you see guys that move on from somewhere where they've been a long time in order to put themselves in positions to play. And I saw that around the league. I saw, David West leave Indiana when I never thought he would. You see what, Vince Carter playing on different teams after he left Toronto. And obviously, you never thought he would. You see Tony Parker leave San Antonio, and you never thought he would. And you see guys like myself that have been in situations where, they've played for so many years, and you never think they'll leave, and then you see them leave. I say to myself, damn. I get it. I get it because we can still play and we still want to play. But sometimes organizations tend to move in a different direction. It's not no fault of the player or the organization. That's just how the business goes sometimes. But, for me, being here in this city has always been bigger than basketball. I've had a chance to impact this city in ways that I never thought. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting jobs in the community. I got, low-income housing, that we're building right now, and single-family homes that we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that I'm most proud of, right up there with my rings and my championships. So I've always seen the bigger picture and played the long game instead of the short game.
They could have moved on, as an organization, too. Like, I know sports talked about it before, you get off to a rough start with Brian and Bosh and them. This is the best start y'all had at home in the history of the franchise. You think, well, how in the world didn't they start like this when they had a super team? But this organization isn't Pat. It's Mickey Harrison. It's just the way they operate in terms of that consistency is not going to change with the win. Like some organizations we rebuild every year, starting over from scratch.
We are who we are, man. We are who we are. We don't shy away from who we are and what we are. And we understand that, it might not be for everybody, but, we are who we are. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take the hard road. We don't want anything easy. We're going to put the work in. We're going to rely on our foundation and our fundamentals and our culture, and we're going to push through.
When you sit back and look at the span of your career, what's been not that you can have one highlight, but what's been a couple of things on the court that you look back and say, man, that's when the basketball was like at its purest, its best, when y'all was just playing and, competing, going at it in this league?
I mean, that first training camp when we first brought the Big Three in, that training camp that we had on that Navy base.
Yeah.
That was fun. Fun from a competitive, get better standpoint, because I really didn't care what Chris Bosh had done at Toronto. I want to see what you can do here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't care that you average 20. You didn't play against me all 82 games. You know what I'm saying? And it was the same thing with D-Wade and LeBron. The way they challenged each other every day, pushing each other, playing one-on-one after practice. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the most competitive but fun, overall, training camps experiences in my life. I have an opportunity to win the rebounding record, playing at home, winning the record at home against Milwaukee. Breaking the Miami Heat rebounding record was an amazing accomplishment. And then winning those championships, man. That's what we play for. That's what you shut off your phone for in the playoffs, and you start reading books, and you disconnect from your kids, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you spend more time, alone on your off days. That's what you do it for. You got to be obsessed a little bit to win a championship. People think that you just got to work hard and have the best team, but it's not always that. It's not always the best team and the people that work hard. It's the people that's willing to give up the most in those times and those moments to win those championships, because it's a lifestyle change. Winning a championship, you have to change your life going into playoff time. You're just not going to go through the same things that you do every day and hanging out with your boys, going to dinner and up all night, watching TV. No, when you get into that playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame.
You see Jimmy coming here now, and you know better than anybody the mantle he's going to have to carry in terms of leadership around here. You and D-Wade have carried it forever. Does he understand, and do you have to make him understand exactly what that means around here? It's not the same as leading in Minnesota or somewhere else necessarily. It's a different kind of...
I think he understood, but until you're a part of it, until you're involved in it, until you're in the trenches, you can't fully grasp what it takes. But every game he's getting more and more comfortable, and every game I'm giving him more and more confidence to let him know, hey, you built for this. Like, we don't have to mold you. We don't have to tell you. You are a Miami Heat guy. You are one of our kind of guys. Now, just let that out on the basketball court. Be vocal about that. If guys aren't playing at your level, let them know. because we know what your level is. And that doesn't mean everybody has to produce offensively the way you do. That's just not the way of the game. Playing at your level mentally, physically, emotionally, competing at the highest. You know what I'm saying? And you have the right to call guys out on that. And we do that here. And it's not a calling out of a disrespectful way. It's holding guys accountable, which is another foreign language in this work, in this league. Nobody wants to be held accountable. You call accountable is like you speak in another language. Accountability is like, with this era and this league and what they call themselves, the millennials or whatever, no such thing. Nobody wants to be accountable. Everybody's sensitive.
Yeah. It is a different beast, man. I was just watching Jimmy the other night when y'all played Chicago. Like, if he'd have played that way in other places, his whole image would be different. Like, he didn't mind sharing, sacrificing, like you said. Like, young guys take a shot. He just played. And he talked about it after the game. And he's like, listen, we just playing. He's like, we're not worrying about all that extra stuff. Does that layer of BS get wiped away down here? Like, you're not going to be able to come down here and carry on and keep up nonsense with the culture that y'all have around here. I mean, let's be real. They'll sit a couple of cats on the bench. They'll sit a couple of cats on the bench. That's making big money, but you're not going to play down here. You're not going to rock with the way business is done. You know what I mean? Do players understand that, you think, when they come down here and get involved in this organization?
If they don't, they will. Yeah. If they don't, they will.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to fall in line, man. You got to fall in line about what we're about and who we are, as a team, as an organization. And, for Jimmy, it's natural because we're like him and he's like us. A bunch of guys with chips on their shoulders, a little edgy, and want to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we all relate.
Yeah. I was laughing with Tim Dominic, like, you're gonna be stuck around here forever. You know that, right? You ain't never gonna get out of here. Like, you're gonna be here. You'll be suited up, and if you know what I'm saying? Like, they got a history of that in this organization with certain guys for whatever reason that just had that vein. So other guys like. You stuck here now, right? This your city, so you.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. One thing about it, two things for sure. I'm always be control what's going outside these doors. Up in here, this belong to them. So, but outside these doors, I control everything out there on them streets. So, at the end of the day, man, I'm always gonna be connected to this organization. I'm always gonna be the man out there in the city and the streets. But coaching. What the next step is, I don't really know, man. I love impacting these guys. I love being around these guys. But, once again, I got kids that are growing up fast. I got an older son that's playing college football. I got a 12-year-old that's travel baseball. It's damn near like he's in the MLB. It's like they're traveling with this stuff, man. And the pitching practice and the batting practice. Right. And I got an 8-year-old. He's just a stud at all sports, so he plays everything. Yeah. Not to mention my businesses and my Starbucks and my Einsteins and my Chick-fil-A and then my low-income housing and then, obviously, just everything. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do it all. Yeah. But I just got to figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Good to see you. Thank you. Always appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know it. Thanks.
Appreciate Miami Heat forward Udonis Haslem for the time. Very interesting conversation with him. Be interesting to see where this Heat team goes the rest of the season. Now we hear from James Ennis of the Philadelphia 76ers and his thoughts on what they got going on in Philly and what the projection looks like for them the rest of the season. James Ennis making his first appearance here on the Hang Time podcast. I appreciate you taking some time, James. You got one of the more interesting roads to NBA veteran, man. If somebody was to look at your bio and see all the places you've been and the route you had to take to get to the league, how would you describe it to them? Just from Ventura to, Long Beach State to where you are now.
I feel like, like you said, a long road. I felt like I just had to take, I took the long route pretty much. But, everybody has their own path, their own story behind everything. But I'm just happy I'm in the NBA after the long route, just staying focused, and I'm committed to, just my dream.
Yeah. What was that like going to the other side of the world to play with the Perth Wildcats, and all these other places? What was that like for a young guy having to, leave everything you knew to go that far to start?
It's pretty tough because it was my first time over the water, and I was my first year out of college. Yeah, I was my because I got drafted, and I had a choice to play in the G League or go overseas, and I chose overseas because just because my the money situation with my family and stuff like that. I feel like going over there will help us a little bit more with that, and it did. But it was kind of tough. I was alone, but I definitely got comfortable pretty quick because just the Perth Wildcats, just a good organization, good teammates, brought me in like a brother.
Yeah. Was it more comfortable right away on or off the court? Like, what took the longer adjustment, on the court or just adjusting to the lifestyle of living there?
I feel like just the lifestyle living there because I've never been alone away from my family that far.
Interesting. You obviously get back to the league and find your way. You've been on some interesting teams, to say the least, during your NBA years. You had a stint in Miami, obviously, a couple of stints in Memphis with the Pelicans, Detroit, Houston. What's been the most compelling stop for you in terms of where did you feel like you had really solidified yourself in the NBA? Which one of those stops, which team did you feel like, all right, I'm established now, and I think I'm in a place where I'm going to be here for a while?
I really haven't been in no place for a while, so, I've been jumping around, for my whole life. I feel unstable. So my biggest goal right now is just to be stable and, find a home here at Philadelphia. But I feel like Memphis, gave me another chance. And I feel like I solidified myself a little bit there. And definitely when I got called up to play with the Pelicans, I showed that I belonged in the NBA.
Right. What I'm curious too, what did anybody ever tell you as to why you couldn't stay in one spot? Like, what was it that they said was lacking, or where were you? Was it just bad timing, fit? What do you think it was?
I guess bad timing. Like you said, it's every year it's more. It's like everybody's coming in, new draft coming in. I guess it's bad timing and just the situation as far as in like my position. I feel like the biggest thing is just being consistent. I feel like I wasn't that consistent. That's why I probably moved around a lot and injuries.
Got you. This Philly team, came into the season with a lot of expectations. A lot of people talking about the Sixers being the team to beat in the East, and having Joel and Ben and adding Al Horford and just having such a talented roster. What has been the journey for this team just throughout the first quarter or so of this season in terms of getting adjusted to the newness of the roster? Do you feel like you guys have hit a comfort zone at all yet in terms of what you're going to be as a group?
I think we still have some things a lot. Like we still have a couple things that, it's a quarter, but I feel like we're not at our best yet. I feel like we still got to gel a little bit more, but so far, we're doing pretty good. We got a lot of pieces.
Do you feel like in a league where everybody is playing pace and space and shooting threes, you guys are kind of going against the grain of that? Do you think that is a benefit for you guys? Is that something that you have to be able to take advantage of in the postseason? I'm curious if you feel like that's been one of the hurdles in terms of getting everybody, into a cohesive group for this team.
Yeah, I feel like we're, we have the ability. We're a lot bigger, like you said. We're a lot bigger. We just gotta capitalize on our size. Definitely, we have one of the best big men in the league, and that's in the point guard position, and just got to capitalize on our size and take advantage of that. And but I feel like we have people who shoot the ball as well. So once everything comes together, who knows?
Where do you think you are at this stage of your career in terms of what kind of player you are? I mean, you've had obviously some really great moments, but as you said, just how it is. You got to establish yourself, I guess, every year. It's just one of those things where you're proving yourself all the time. Where's your game at now?
My game's I'm that 3-and-D type of guy. Bring energy. I definitely love crashing the offensive glass. Try to get second possessions, second chance possessions. I feel like I'm shooting the ball more consistently this year than I have in my past years.
And do you think? I mean, when you imagine, how this career continues for you. I mean, guys are playing, deep into their, 30s now. We're seeing. I mean, Vince Carter's still running around the league.
Right.
LeBron turns 35 at the end of this month. I mean, is it a thing now where players are looking at their 30s and not looking at it as the end? But sometimes maybe that's the stretch where you really catch fire and and kind of reach your potential maybe after 30, as opposed to hitting 30 and that kind of being the end of a career.
Biggest thing, like you said, I feel like just taking care of your body so you can be able to play at the speed that the NBA is now. So I know from 28 to like 31, 32, that's like your prime. So definitely a lot of room for growth.
Your growth with Philly as well. Do you think? I know you said you're trying to establish, something long lasting there. Do you think that's the right fit? I mean, and I don't mean that just from a situational perspective, but just in terms of the culture of a team, a city, and an organization. Do you feel like you finally kind of found that right spot?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely have. I feel like it. I'm a lot more comfortable here than last year when I came in the mid-season. I love the city. I love our fans and just everybody in our organization. And I know we could do big things here.
No doubt, man. Well, look, I appreciate it, James. Just wanted to check in, and like I said, we're trying to figure out this entire season, man. You bounce around from team to team, trying to figure out what makes them tick. What do you think ultimately makes this Sixers team tick? How do you guys reach your goals and get to the finish line at the end of the season? What do you think it's going to take just overall for the entire group for you guys to get there?
I feel like, once we establish, our offensive flow, I know we're gonna defend no matter what. That's what we hang our heads on. Defending, being disruptive. Like I said earlier, we're one of the biggest teams in the league, so we just gotta capitalize more on mismatches and continue to share the ball.
It's gonna be interesting, man. Well, look, I appreciate it, James. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Once again, we want to thank Udonis Haslem of the Miami Heat, James Ennis of the Philadelphia 76ers joining us here on the Hang Time Podcast. Very interesting stuff. You always like to dig in with players around the league to find out what's going on with their teams, kind of what makes them tick. So we appreciate those guys and the PR staffs in both cities for helping make that happen. We'll have some more good stuff for you next week, Christmas week. Happy holidays in advance of the holiday to everybody. And we'll see you right here next week on the Hang Time Podcast.
Thanks for listening to Sekou Smith's Hang Time Podcast. Be sure to check out previous episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, NBA.com/hangtime, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, Hoops fans.